What's up? So it's Wednesday and we're off to the gym at the moment. Today's my day off, so use it wisely. Go to the gym. The last video I spoke a little bit on nutrition. I didn't really get too deep into it. It was more focused on what I ate over that 4 days and just showing you, like I'm still a normal person too. I still go out and indulge. And I'm feeling the after effects of that weekend still. My stomach is still so bloated. I am still constantly feeling full. Like I barely eat anything and my stomach just feels full. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. My energy levels are still really low. I'm still feeling zapped. But thank goodness for pre-workout. Otherwise I wouldn't be getting half of this workout done. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about why I chose to calorie deficit. So at the start of this journey, December last year, I knew something had to change because I was overweight, right? And I knew that weight was hindering my recovery from surgery. And it was slowing it down. So I knew I had to lose weight. And so I decided that I would do what I always done and went back to keto. Now, I was an advocate for keto, the ketogenic diet. I was an advocate purely because every time I done the keto diet, I lost weight and I lost it fast. And so for me was like, I could easily drop the weight just like that and not have to worry so much, like I never really had to put in the hard yards to lose the weight, and it was kind of like my life hack. But it was unsustainable because it always came back twice as fast, and if not more than what I lost. So I was doing the keto diet, but I noticed that this time round it just wasn't working well because we had a lot of things going on, like around the time, you got Christmas. You got birthdays, you got all that kind of stuff happening, all these friends getting together, and we're all going out to dinner and all that kind of stuff, So you got all these things happening, and I couldn't manage to just constantly stay in keto. I was always yo-yoing, constantly like, you know what, let's just skip it for today, or let's skip it for this week, or whatever, because we've got this on, we've got that on, we've got this on, and so it wasn't working. And me and my wife have done keto a few times. So about, I don't know how long it was, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I did keto and I was at 140 kgs then. And I dropped down within 4 months, I think it was. I dropped down to 116 kgs. And then I moved to Auckland, and it took me 2 years to gain back. I think I went back up to about 120 something, 120 kgs. And then another couple of years later, I piled it on. Oh no, it wasn't even that. Yeah, it was something like that. Anyway, another year or so later, I piled it back on, and I was back up around the 128 mark. Then my wedding day came, and we had ketoed for about 4 months, and I had dropped down to 122 kgs. And then after that, it was just a constant on-off keto, and I did gym for about 4 months before my wedding, and it wasn't nothing like I'm doing now. It was just mostly cardio and a little bit of weight training, but yeah, hardly anything. Keto was the go-to, and so me and my wife, and unfortunately I got her into keto, and it worked for both of us for our wedding and stuff, and that worked for the time, but yeah, it just wasn't working. And so we decided, let's look at our options. Let's look at all the different diets out there. Let's look at all the different lifestyles, the way of eating that people claim to be the best, all that kind of stuff, and let's just make it work for us. Like, let's find something that works for us. And so I went ahead and I started studying, and I started researching, and I looked at so many different ways of eating and so many different lifestyles to match my goals or our goals and what we wanted to do. And of course our goals have changed, and so for me eating is a lot different now than what it was when I first started. But I looked into like veganism, I looked into vegetarians, I looked into pescatarian, I looked into paleo, I looked into carnivore, I looked into carb cycling, I looked into calorie counting, Weight Watchers, all these different things that are available to us. I looked at Noom and all this stuff where they're like, you pay us a subscription and we'll help you lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And none of it made sense to me and what my goals were. For example, and I'm not picking on anyone in particular, but for example, just straight off the top of my head, veganism didn't line up with my goals only because in order to get the full protein intake that meat gives me, I would have to eat a combination of legumes and seitan and all that kind of stuff. I would have to mix it all together in order to get that. That's fine, but it does take a lot of planning for your meal times, which right now I don't have time and to be doing all of that stuff, and time is only getting less and less at the moment for me. So I would have to muck around with all of that, always be prepped. On top of that, the calorie intake would be the same as what I'm consuming now, but a significantly less amount of food, because each legume that I have to use, or everything that I have to combine to make up my entire protein profile, would have counted as calories. And so I would have had to have eaten less to match the same as what I'm eating now if I didn't have meat. You know what I mean? And so it just didn't make sense to me that, like, I don't have a problem with eating meat, so that's for a start. But that just didn't make sense to me. And same with vegetarian, becoming a vegetarian. I would have to do the same thing. Same if I became pescatarian. Yeah, I can eat fish and seafood, all that kind of stuff, but you get sick of eating fish every single day. And so it just got to this point where I had to seriously really consider what I was doing and how I was going to make it work for my goals. And also take into consideration my wife as well, because I can't just go out on my own diet and then expect her to just fend for herself. You know what I mean? Like, that's unfair. So we worked it out together. And so we both sat and talked. And the best part is my wife is a chef. So, we both sat and we talked and we went over it. And we both found that the best way to eat is by eating a clean, balanced diet. Controlling our portions and controlling our calorie intake. So how much oil we use to cook, instead of cooking, in a lot of oil, like a cup of oil, which who does, but well, some people do. But instead of doing that, doing it like less oil. Do a teaspoon, a tablespoon even of olive oil, and that's it. You're not going overboard with it. You're not doing, quarter of a cup of oil just to fry an egg. You know what I mean? Like, that's an exaggerated example, by the way. And so learning all of that stuff, or figuring out all of that stuff, and sitting with my wife, we were able to come up with a plan, and a plan of attack. And we thought, you know what? We'll either tighten up on our keto, or let's try this for 2 months. If it doesn't work, then let's go back to keto and let's tighten up. We're already at this point where we're, I was already really big anyway. I was already holding a lot of weight. So it didn't matter if I went back to being heavy or, having a lot of weight on me, because I was like, well, I'm going to have to lose it anyway. So let's experiment now in the early stages. And so we did. And I'm glad that we did, because within 2 months, I dropped down by almost 10 kgs within the first 2 months. It was almost 10 kgs. And my wife had lost something like 4 or 5 kgs or something like that. And so we saw that it worked straight away. And we weren't limiting ourselves. We weren't like having to tell friends, oh, sorry, like we're eating this way. We'll come over for dinner, but we're eating like this. So, we didn't have to worry about that. We didn't have to worry about getting together with friends and family and being like, oh, we can't really go out. or we'll go out and we'll just have the very bare minimum because we didn't want to ruin keto and all that kind of stuff, you know. And it created like a real toxic mentality, like a relationship with food for me anyway. And so we changed all of that, and it just worked out so much better for us. And now for me and the goals that I have and the goal that I'm trying to achieve, this works out 10 times better. It's a lot easier. And with a busy life schedule, I don't have to worry so much about preparing a meal that contains 5 different elements just to get one thing. You know, I can prepare a meal quick, fast, knowing pretty much now, because I've been doing it a while, knowing exactly how much calories I'm kind of consuming within that. I still have an app that I still use, MyFitnessPal, and I log everything to make sure that I am on point with it, because, you know, sometimes you guess and your guessing is not quite right. And so I still have a scale, I still weigh out foods, all that kind of stuff. But I kind of know, you know, like where I'm at with things and how much each thing is going to cost, gonna be in calories and stuff like that. And so it's become a part of my lifestyle now, that it's easier than having to constantly plan what to have. And I'm sure, I mean, I could have got to this point doing a vegan diet or doing a vegetarian diet, but I didn't want to sacrifice that just for the sake of, you know, becoming a vegan or whatever. And eating clean like this just works well. And my health numbers are like right up, so there's nothing wrong with me. But that's it for now. Let's get into the gym. All these people coming in and out of the gym, and they're just staring at me like talking on the phone, probably thinking, oh look, he's in a meeting. Joke's on you, John. I ain't meeting no one. All right, let's go and get a workout in. Yo, what's up? So, quick update. It's been a week since we went away. Just over a week and 2 days. And the end of last week, I had lost all that energy after the weekend. Come the following weekend, I was doing okay. Come Sunday, my body just crashed hard and I got really sick. Monday and Tuesday I've been real sick, so I haven't even been to the gym. Have been eating, but I wouldn't say I've been eating like a lot, or haven't been eating on point. But I've been eating some good foods, but I haven't been eating the greatest, I guess, in the last week. But we're back lower than before we left. Weight-wise, we're back lower than when we left for our trip to Auckland. But yeah, my body got hammered It's just, I think I think it's a mixture of a whole heap of things, because the weather's been real cold here in Palmy too, and it's been a good 6 years since I felt this kind of cold, and it's been a shock to the system, I think, and maybe, yeah, that's why I got sick, or one of the reasons why. But the other reasons were just my body wasn't fueled ready to fight for it, because, I had taken that little break. And yeah, and I think plus a big build-up of pushing so hard for the last 3 to 4 months, I finally stopped and came to a complete stop. It wasn't like a gradual slowdown. It was just like a complete stop that my whole body went into rest, and then it just, it all happened all at once. But it's all good. We got to have these times. It's good for me too, making me realize just how good my eating actually was, how on point my eating actually was, before I went away, before I indulged in some good food. And it just keeps me on track as well, which is cool, which is really cool. Next will be just to get back into the gym. I'm missing the gym so much, because I could go now, but I don't want everyone to get sick at the gym. That's not cool. You don't do that. You don't get sick and then take it and spread it around everywhere. Have some decency. So we'll wait till we're back, we're ready, and we'll go. I've just got to get rid of this head stuff. That's the only thing that's kind of stopping me at the moment. Get rid of this head stuff, and we're back into the gym, and we're going harder and harder. But yeah, so we're back down to 134 again. I was 134.9 or something like that when I left. Now I'm back to 134.4. So let's go. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Whew, that was a good workout. That's probably one of the nicest workouts I've had in months. Nice as in, it wasn't too hard out, but I felt it work. It was one of the nicest workouts I've had in ages. And surprisingly, I was like, oh man, I'm going to go back and be kind of weak. Kind of just doubting myself, really. Been out of the gym for a week and just doubting myself and everything that I have done and worked up towards. But yeah, got in there and I was stronger than I thought. Things were easier than I thought. So yeah, that was really good. That was really surprising. And I didn't push beyond my limits. I didn't weight up anything that I couldn't lift that was too ridiculous. I've probably had the best bicep workout today that I've ever had in the gym. It was really good. So this workout was actually really nice, and I feel because consistency is the key, right, to getting stronger. Consistency. It's not about just lifting heavy weights. Consistency is the key. If you can consistently lift a heavy weight, you're getting stronger. Today, I could consistently lift a decent amount of weight for all my reps instead of going up and down, which I still did. I still loaded up more until I was like, okay, I know that after this it's going to be a bit of a challenge. So I stopped. Instead of challenging, I get used to a heavy weight, and then that heavy weight that you've worked up to becomes so easy that now that's your starting weight. Say you're doing bench presses, right? You start out at 40 kg bench presses. You work on those until those become so easy that 50 kg is your next step up, and that becomes easy. Then after that, you're just like, sweet, all right, I'll start on 50 kgs now. That's become my starting weight. 40 kgs are a thing of the past. And you do that right up until 60, 70 kgs, right? Until those become easy. Okay, 60 kgs is my starting weight. And you're confident starting at 60. Like today, my confident starting weight was 60 kgs on bench press. So I was like, well, I know that I'm confident enough to do it because, I'm confident I can do it because I have been doing this for a while. So I confidently know I can start on that. Sure enough, I started on it and was like, yeah, I have no troubles getting 10 reps at 60 kgs straight off the bat. Like, that's not a problem. And then you go up 70, 80, whatever, and then you can always drop back down to 50 or 60 again, just to finish off if you wanted to. If 80, you don't want to go any higher than 80 or whatever. But yeah, today was just a really good workout. And again, like I said, I've changed my schedule, my whole workout plan, and so I've stuck to that. I stuck to that exactly today. Threw in some barbell rows, which felt really good actually. And I started out light because it was first time doing them. So first, I went in. This is going to sound funny actually. A day ago, I stood in my kitchen with my broom, and I practiced my form with my broom. Because then when I go, I already know the form. I know exactly where to drop, exactly how to hold. It's just that I'm doing it under weight now. I can actually fully activate those muscles that hold. But I know where to press, how to lean, how to engage what. And as soon as there's weight under it, those muscles now can tense and actually lock me and anchor me in that place. And so I went to the gym and I just grabbed the bar first, bent over, done it, yep, in position, sweet, that feels good, feels like my broom. Smashed out 10 reps with no weight. Put the bar back, yeah, that feels really good. Okay, whack on, I only whacked on 20 kgs to start with, 10 each side, down, bang, man, that felt really nice. And I was like, this is really light though. So I whacked on another 20 kgs, 10 each side. So I went to 40 kgs, smashed out another 10. That was mean. Like I was like, oh, that's pretty easy. And I was like, I'm going to go up again. And I ended up going to, what did I do? I did 50 kgs. So I went up to 50. So another 5 kgs each side. Went up to 50 kgs and that felt good. Like I could have gone to 60 to be honest, but I didn't want to push it because it's a new exercise. Let me get my form, let me get all of that down first. And so I stopped at 50 kgs and smashed out 10 at 50 and that felt great. Put the weight, racked it, went to the next exercise. Yeah, and it felt amazing. This workout feels really good. So I'll keep you updated. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to record as much as I can of my workouts throughout the week. And I'll give you guys like a big long workout B-roll segment of the workout over the week. Because it's just better. Otherwise I'm trying to film everything in one day, which is not cool. I can't get all my workouts. So I'll film bits of every day's workout and then I'll get you guys. And I think we're going to be switching back to nights soon because my wife is joined back at the gym. Yay! So I get to work out with my wife again. That's going to be so much fun. That was always so much fun, man, having someone there to work out with. Even if you're not working out together and doing things together, it's just nice because you can see them working out, going hard, and it drives you to go hard for yourself, because you see them working out and really pushing, it makes you want to push yourself. Because they're bettering themselves, and you benefit from that. So why not better yourself so that she benefits from it as well? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's cool. So I'm really, really excited to have my workout buddy back. Like, I'm really excited for that. And yeah, like I said, it's not that we're going to be working out together and pushing each other, but it's that I get my buddy there that I can look over and see and inspire me to go even harder. So yeah, it's cool. So if you're working out, man, honestly, if you're your partner, if you've got a partner, take your partner to the gym with you and don't lord over them how to do the exercise. You go 15, push more. Nah, stop. Don't do that. Let them do their thing, man. But just use how they work out as your inspiration and be an inspiration to them. Like, you don't have to show off that you know how to lift more than they can. Who cares? Bro, go lift off in the corner then. Or go to the gym by yourself if you're one of those people. And don't force them. Don't force them to do like billions of reps. Like, let them work at their own pace. Let them do their thing and just use that as your inspiration. That they're working hard to improve themselves, so you work hard to improve yours. You know what I mean? Anyways, that'll do for now. Yeah.